incidents that basically stop or can halt business operations, because everything is a lot more connected and dependent on each other from a data level. So adding to that, we have regulatory pressure, like the NIS2 and the CRA things that come into play. And those things basically say, if you're not ready for cybersecurity as such, then that's an accountability for the boardroom or for board level executives. So those are the two reasons why cybersecurity is not just an IT issue, it's a board level discussion because of, one, the business impact, and on the second hand, the business accountability if you fail to meet the ends on security, cybersecurity.
And I wanted to touch on that regulatory pressure that you were mentioning. And we know that cybersecurity has come a long way, but with all of these new regulations and legislations in the mix, I know it can be a bit confusing. So from your perspective, what are some of the biggest misconceptions that are out there in terms of cybersecurity that you're seeing now in 2026?
Yeah, so as you rightfully say, there's a lot of regulation and cybersecurity certifications that are going on. Especially in Europe, we have the NIS2 and the CRA, the Cyber Resilience Act. But first of all, it's safe to say that compliance does not necessarily mean security. It means that it's a minimum requirement that you need to abide to, let's say. But then if you look a lot deeper into risk-based assessments and controls that you need to do, or the software development life cycles, those things take it up a notch. And that's exactly where you need to be fully security, let's say, up to the risk level or the risk posture that you're willing to take as a company, as an end user company. So what we've also seen is that it's not just about if I'm going to be targeted, it's when you're going to be targeted. So in order to make sure that you're ready for that, it's good that you have a, let's say, security muscle already built up. So as soon as an incident kicks in, that you can rely on that muscle memory, if you will, that you have the correct processes and the products in place to make sure that you don't end up into business operations that are being halted, stopped, or even worse impact than that.
So, yeah, there's also there's quite a few different elements that you need to have all balanced in order to sort of create that one sort of product achievement. And it's interesting, I think, to sometimes consider how you balance usability with speed to market and security without compromising one for the other. How would you approach that?
So how we approach that in Barco is, if you look at the cost of a bug, not necessarily security bug, but a normal bug, that goes up tremendously if you solve it all the way in the beginning in the development phase, as opposed to when it's already in the field. So those costs go up exponentially. And the same is true, even more so, for a security vulnerability. So the idea is, one, as soon as you see it in the development and in your testing, fix it, be done with it. In the highly unlikely case that something might slip into the field, then of course you need to fix it. And then we base ourselves upon a risk-based analysis. So you look at the issue or the incident, the vulnerability you have before you, let's say, and then you look at your risk-based analysis that you have, and then you try to close it up into where the level is acceptable from a risk perception or from a risk perspective, and then you have patched that issue. So that makes sure that you don't necessarily need to close everything down up into the 100% closed. You just make sure that it's aligned with the risk level that you're comfortable with as a vendor, but also as an end user, and that also increases your speed to market. That's the first element. The second element is, if you build software, all of your software components are, your software is built with multiple components, and you need those components to be up to date from a feature perspective, but also from a security perspective. And if you fail to do so, and let's say it takes a year or 2 years until you bump a software component to the new version, then you're going to suffer from that on a functional level, but also on a security level. So you need to make sure that these things are baked into your day-to-day routine, R&D routine, not just thinking about features, but also about the maintenance, and then especially closing down security issues in your product.
Wow, so making sure that everything's secure is very multifaceted. There's so many moving components. It's a lot, it sounds like.
It is.
And so, and so Barco, I know you guys have mentioned shared responsibility. I'd love if you can define that a little bit for our audience, and how should everything kind of be divided, that responsibility, when it comes to integrators or your partners or your end users. So if you could just speak a little to that, that would be wonderful.
Yeah. So basically, if we split it up, like you say, we have the vendors, in this case Barco, then we have integrators and end users. As a vendor, to put it very high level, we secure the product, the integrator secures the implementation, and then the end user secures the operations. And if we just zoom in a bit more on all those three, let's say the vendor secures the product, that's up to us. We need to make sure that we can provide security patches, that we provide the security features, that we provide something like an SBOM, a software bill of material, where we list all the components I previously talked about, but also with their version number. We make sure that we have security built in and baked in into the architecture phase, so all the way into the beginning. That's something that we take care of. From an integrator perspective, and here's where it comes maybe a bit more gray or ad hoc, depending on the situation. But so the integrator, as I said, secures the implementation. That's all about the network segmentation. It's about the entity and access management that needs to be done. It's about the permission scheme that needs to be implemented. This operator can see source A, B, but another operator or supervisor has a different type of sources or set of sources that they can access. And then also they're responsible for including the features that we can offer as a product into the workflow. I'm thinking MFA, multi-factor authentication and the likes. And then the last one is the end user. So the end user is responsible for securing their operations. So it's up to them, first and foremost, to apply our updates, security patches. It's up to them to, when there's an incident, that they report it to us, so that we can fix it and that they can return to their security posture after the patch. And it's also up to them to define a risk framework that they will allow or that they're comfortable with. And then the last thing I wanted to say is in EU, for instance, there's a directive which is called the PLD, the Product Lifecycle Directive, that basically states as soon as you have a security vulnerability, it's up to the vendor. Like I say, we secure the product. It's up to the vendor to make sure that there's a patch for that specific vulnerability and that we will fix it. As soon as we do, and as soon as we put it out there to be downloaded and applied and installed, then the liability shifts from the vendor to the end user or the partner, again, depending on the situation. So that's a very strong statement, but also directive, that the vendor is responsible for the product, but as soon as our patches are out, it's up to the end user, up to the partner to actually install them, apply them, and make sure that the system as such is secure again.
Yeah,
that's a lot of information. So yes, you really need to make sure you've got all of your ducks in a row and understand that flow and how each component, you know, the responsibility and how that lies and that's laid out.
Definitely. If you could give one piece of advice to business leaders who don't consider themselves technical when it comes to cybersecurity, what would it be? Yeah.
So I would say exactly that. It's not up to you to understand all the nitty-gritty technical details, but as a business leader, you need to understand the business risk of cybersecurity, the risk that you run by not having a secure system or secure processes in place. So you might compare it to a seat belt, for instance, or car safety. In a seat belt, it's not the idea that as a business leader you know how much force you can take and so on, and what materials the belts are being made of. That's irrelevant for a business leader. What you do need to know is, does my organization, my car, does it have a seat belt?
Yeah.
Did we test it? Like, if you pull this, did we test it, and can it, does it fit to our security posture and our risk assessment? And then last but not least, do all my employees know about it, and do they use it? So that's basically what you need to take into account as a business leader. And then maybe to concretely round it off with 3 more suggestions. First one is, like I said before, compliance does not necessarily mean security. It provides you with minimum requirements, but make sure as a business leader to also ask or understand what the residual risk might be from not just being compliant, but also what are the other things that might still be open or be attacked. Make it a boardroom discussion. So that was all the way in the beginning. We talked about that it will be a boardroom discussion, but make it part of the agenda and also the decisions. And then last but not least, security, cybersecurity consider it to be an ongoing journey and not a one and done type of project and you're done with it. That's not going to be the case.
I love that seatbelt analogy as well. I'm going to use that.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing this information. And just a quick plug, obviously, where can people find more additional information about everything that you've discussed, either if they're here at the show or if they're at home?
Yeah, so you can always reach us at www.barco.com. And for the show, we are currently for Barco control rooms at 8 booths. So I'm going to present you the main one, that's 5N and then 390. That's a booth we have with our one of our integrators here, RPG.
Fantastic.
Hope to see you there.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for spending your time with us and just giving us all this information. It was so helpful and we really appreciate it.
It was a pleasure.
Thanks, Mathieu.
Fantastic. All right. Well, I think now it's time to go back to Anna at our virtual set. Take it away, Anna.
Hello again, and thank you, Sam. We are here in our virtual studio with a teacher, because we are in a class. Sean Ruron, he is an expert in security, in cybersecurity, but today we are going to talk about a specific topic that is quantum computing and how it's changing the game for all of us.
Yes.
Thank you, Sean, for being here.
My pleasure.
And for being our teacher today. So, can you explain us what is quantum computing, the risks and the benefits that this technology has for us?
Yes, absolutely. So it's a major change in how computing is performed. The computers we're using today use a system called bits, and a bit is either on or off. So when you have a large stream of these, the computer looks at it one at a time. Is it on or is it off? Quantum changes everything, because believe it or not, that bit now becomes a qubit, and it can be on and off at the same time, which means the amount of data it can process is phenomenally faster. And therefore, the benefits are just astronomical. I don't think we really understand how good it's going to be, but processing numbers, graphics, in fact everything that a computer does will be done an awful lot faster with quantum computing.
Okay, you told me many minutes ago that I thought that it was many years that we are away, but you told me that we are 5 years away that this technology can be a reality.
Yes. So quantum computing already exists today, but it's not strong enough to do some of the things that we anticipate it will. However, the expert organisations, such as the British National Cybersecurity Centre, estimate about 5 years before there's effective quantum computing for encryption and decryption to be available.
What are the companies or the business that need to be aware of this situation?
Yes, that's a very good one. So with the audiovisual industry, there's a lot of value in your intellectual property. And whether it's the firmware on the devices that you make, protecting your data streams and therefore your business risk, that is at risk, because with today's computing, it would take billions of years to crack some of the encryption. And I must add, it's asymmetric encryption. There's two sorts, but this is asymmetric encryption. And when quantum computing becomes established, we're looking minutes, hours, or possibly days to crack it.
I can imagine how will be the password in your home for the Wi-Fi, because in my home it's complicated because my husband has a master's degree in cybersecurity too. But for example, for our AV industry, how the quantum computing it will impact, or what we need to do to be prepared?
That is the question of the moment. There are algorithms, there are methods of encrypting data today which will not be able to be cracked by quantum computing. So you've got to start thinking about it today. You've got 5 years, potentially. It could be quicker, who knows. You've got all the other legislation and laws to consider. You've got your business to run, and now you've got to consider that the data you have secret today becomes public in a few years' time. And you could say, well, that's 5 years' time, so what? What there is evidence of is that the bad people, the people that want to collect your intellectual property, are harvesting. They're collecting that data at the moment. They can't see it. However, in 5 years' time, we'll use 5 years as a date to aim for, they will be able to crack it very, very quickly. And if the AV industry are supplying equipment into industry, manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, oil and gas, and these systems are designed to be there for 20 to 50 years, you've just created a vulnerability in your system which the bad people can come into the main systems.
Okay, I taking into account this, the last part that you said, we are system, they are being part of the critical infrastructure now.
Yes.
Everywhere. So what can learn, or what we can learn from this kind of industry that have more, or the way that we advance in this kind of situation?
Very good point, because AV, up until not so many years ago, was just viewed as a screen. You know, can you believe what you see in here? Which is something I like to put forward. Many of these industries are subject to strict regulation and standards. ISO 27001, information security, and in the industrial sector, IEC 62443. The integrators have got to understand their place within it, and the liability that if they introduce a vulnerability, it could ruin their business or certainly damage their reputation.
Okay, Sean, so we need to talk about this deeply, and we have a lot of things to think and to do, so thank you so much for this information. And Ben, Sam, back to you.
Anna, now one of my favorite things to do at ISE is to catch up with familiar friends in the industry, and right now we get to do that. So it's a warm welcome to Brad Hintzey, EVP of Global Customer Success and Marketing at Crestron. It's hard to believe it's been a year since we were all here together.
It goes by so quickly, doesn't it?
It really does. How are you?
Doing well, doing really well.
Excellent. How's the show been so far?
Busy as always.
Yep.
It's really a fun time to catch up with, as you said, you know, partners, friends, industry colleagues. It's just so energizing, even though I am already worn out.
Exhausted.
It's hard to balance those two emotions, isn't it?
Right.
Energized and exhausted.
Both can be
sleep
true.
on the plane.
Yeah.
Sleep on the plane.
Yeah, exactly. And now you've actually been busy since we last saw you. So tell us about your new role at Crestron and how it helps to create more meaningful customer experiences.
So this is a new initiative called Customer Success, where we're bringing together more of the groups that are really customer facing. Crestron invests in so many ways to support our partners and our customers to succeed, whether that is tech support, customer support, design services, subscriptions. Now all of that will roll up under one umbrella so that we can continue to innovate on that experience. You know, Crestron's well known for our innovative products, and now we'll continue to innovate on that customer experience. Just continue to make it easy to do business and really follow through on that true blue commitment to make sure everyone is successful.
Good stuff.
Well, that's fabulous. And knowing you for all these years, I think that is the perfect position for you. And,
Thank you.
know, just the ability to listen to your customers. You know, it's something that Crestron really prides itself on.
Yep.
And as usual, Crestron always comes to ISE with something new and innovative, and there's just always so much momentum when you guys are here. So recently, I understand that you guys have launched a couple of new solutions here
Just
at
a
ISE,
few. Yep.
just a few. So if you could, can you please share with our audience some of those solutions that you just recently released?
So 2 weeks ago, we held an event we called the Engineering a Culture of Collaboration, and it's really where we introduced a whole suite of new products to enable better collaboration within an organization. And it really is, how can you make it so that it is very simple for anyone to walk in on a Monday morning, have a meeting, connect with their employee, their colleagues or their partners outside of the company, and have just a really productive and effective meeting. So to accomplish that, we engineered an entirely new compute for video conferencing systems. We call it the Collab Compute. Works really well with Teams and Zoom. We also have a new dual camera intelligent video system. We call it the One Beyond I12D tool. It's got 2 lenses and a third for an overall context shot. And then we have also a whole new audio solution called the DM-NAX Intelligent Audio Platform. That's a mix of an audio processor and also some tabletop microphones and speakers to give you a really flexible yet intelligent audio solution. And then lastly, we also introduced an enhancement to our multi-camera solution, Automate VX, that simplifies the deployment by leveraging the intelligent video and visual AI technology that is already built within it.
Okay, so just a few things.
Yeah, nothing major.
You haven't been too
Just a few
busy.
things. Yeah, exactly.
That's so impressive.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if we take a step back and talk about the broader Crestron story, and particularly that idea of engineering a culture of collaboration, how do the 3 Cs, which of course are content, control, and collaboration, how do they play into that global culture?
Well, we think that ultimately those 3 elements, content, control, and collaboration, are essential foundation to enable an organization to collaborate. You need the ability to share information. You need the ability to collaborate with people inside of the room and remote. And then you need the ability to make sure that the space is really simple to use. Anyone can walk in and use that. By combining all 3, that's how you deliver an experience that is really simple, where technology disappears and those that are using the space get to focus just on the purpose for why they are there. And so while we may say this is engineering a culture of collaboration, what really is required to accomplish that is a great mix, solid mix of all 3 of those elements. And that's what we've done with this new release.
No, that's impressive. And I wanted to touch back a little bit more on your collab compute platform.
Yeah.
And as we all know, organizations are working feverishly to get AI into their environments. And I know your collab compute is creating a bit of a buzz. Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit more about that platform and how it's helping to shape the future of intelligent spaces and AI-ready collaborations in those spaces.
So there's 2 elements that we really focused on in engineering this product to enable better AI capability. One is building in AI technology. So it has a dedicated NPU with the proper headroom to support AI applications today and also future growth around those capabilities. Microsoft and Zoom are both doing really interesting things to enable or bring AI into a space, and we worked really closely with both of them to make sure that we had the components that will support a long runway for the addition of these AI capabilities. The second is actually a little more practical in that in order to enable AI, you need this hardware in more spaces. And so we built the collab compute so that it can easily go into every space within an organization, connect the right peripheral for that space, and then you can extend these AI capabilities throughout. Because if you don't have that hardware in the room, you can't take advantage of those AI capabilities.
Yeah, very, very true. And yeah, you need to be future ready for sure in many ways. And speaking of the future, looking ahead, what key industry trends are you seeing right now that are going to be informing Crestron's product roadmap going forward?
Well, there's several that I think are really important. One, of course, is that across the business, across the organization, individuals have more and more expectations for how they want meetings to operate or how the space and how they want that space to operate when they walk inside of that. And so, we have an increasingly demanding customer base that we get to deliver these solutions to. And so trying to really clearly understand what it is that they're looking for, meet those needs of those individual users. We used to need to do more selling as an industry to those customers. This is how it will benefit you. Now we're in that position where they're telling us what they want and we can meet that. And I think that's really exciting. The other one is this concept that AI, where a lot of individuals are finding productivity by themselves with AI, right? Behind your laptop, you get a lot more work done with AI. But then they go into a meeting room and they want to get those same benefits in a collective way. And so that's a key trend that will also push a lot of organizations to figure out, how do I solve this problem of I get benefit when I'm by myself, but I don't want to break that when I'm in a meeting with several other individuals. I actually want more leverage out of that. And so that's a key trend that we're watching so that we ensure that we unlock that capability as well.
I love that, and definitely, I'm sure if people stop by the booth, they can check all of that out. And you know, here we're at ISE, attendees here, there's just so many different solutions, booths, you name it, and you know, attendees are looking for those standout solutions, and obviously Crestron, your solutions obviously fit that bill. So when somebody stops by the Crestron booth, what is it that you want them to take away and remember? Any experiences or any solutions, and what do you want them to take home with them?
Well, I think that really, and this is the reason we're focusing on the engineering a culture of collaboration, we're now a part of enabling businesses to succeed and collaborate more effectively. There may be a number of ways that you can get there, but when you focus on that outcome first and then work backwards, by looking at that foundation, what information do I need to share? How do I need to see that? How do I enable people to collaborate in the room and let the technology just fade into the background? And then how can I leverage control to make that really simple? If you start breaking it down into those three areas, that will naturally lead you to a really solid experience and a way of applying that. So really just look at those outcomes for what you need to collaborate well, and then those essential three elements. That is, I think, the most important key.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. So before we wrap up, you're also doing a special 30-minute Smarter Spaces segment on AVIXA TV live later today. Can you give us a quick preview of what viewers can expect from that?
Well, I've just given you a short taste of the product and the technologies that we introduced, but I'm joined with Alex Paris, our VP of Product, and Joel Mulpeter, our Senior Director of Product Marketing. Both of them will get deeper into those new products and the problems that we're actually solving for by introducing these solutions.
Good stuff.
Wonderful. So you've given everyone many, many outlets to learn more about what Crestron is doing. So definitely make sure you check out that Smarter Spaces segment. And for those who are at ISE, and if you're at home, how can they find you here? And if they're not here, how can they learn more about what Crestron is up to?
Drop by our booth at 3H300. You can't miss it, right there on the corner. And then, as always, on our website, crestron.com. You can find me on LinkedIn and all kinds of new information. We published a bunch a couple weeks ago, and then we'll keep doing that over the next several months.
Wonderful.
Good stuff.
Well, it's always a pleasure to have you, Brad. We can't wait to see you again soon, hopefully at InfoComm in June in lovely Las Vegas.
You will, for sure.
Wonderful. Well,
Thank you so
take
much.
care and enjoy the rest of ISE. Fantastic. All right, well, I think we've got some fun things to show you. There was a wonderful drone show that hopefully the attendees here got to see. Did you get a chance to take a look at it?
I did, yeah, last night. It was just kicking off just as we were leaving the convention center. So yeah, it was quite magical. First time I've seen something like that.
Oh,
so, yeah.
it was so impressive. There were over 600 drones that came together in a breathtaking, musical-driven, choreographed performance by Lang AG. So why don't we go ahead and take a look?
Let's do it. Incredible stuff. It almost makes traditional firework displays redundant. Can you imagine having all of those kind of moving around with some, you know, some explosions and stuff like that?
I loved it, absolutely. So I'm going to add drone choreography to my list of favorite things that I've seen this ISE. I don't know. There's just so many more things to look forward to that could even top that, but that was amazing.
I agree, absolutely. Now, our next guests are from Zoom, the company synonymous with virtual meetings. So I'm pleased to welcome John Stearns and Frank Padakala. Welcome. How are you both?
Welcome.
Doing well, doing well. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely,
yes.
it's an absolute pleasure.
Absolutely. How is your ISE going? How are your feet? Tell us all about it.
You know, I hit the ground running and have gone nonstop, so the jet lag never really actually caught up with me. I think that will eventually catch up with me, and we'll sleep on the plane or we'll sleep when we get home. But there's no time to.
It's busy. It's really busy. I met someone today, and they asked me like, "Hey, can we meet?" I said, "Yeah, we can do it on Wednesday." And they said, "Today is Wednesday."
I've been there, yep. Yeah. I've done that too this week.
Yeah. The land where time just disappears.
Oh my
I mean, you'll be on the plane home before you know it. That's the good thing. So you can and get some sleep then. So John, let's start with you. AI is a topic that is it's a must-have on any discussion around technology these days. So what are you hearing on the floor about that subject and how the conversation has kind of moved on since last year?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, AI is one where it's the topic of the last year for sure, but it's something that we've been doing for many years already and solving pretty practical applications leveraging it. So I know hybrid meeting equity, for example, is a topic that comes up a lot as people have transitioned back to the office and living in this flexible hybrid work strategy. So that was one that we really looked to start to solve some years back and have continued to iterate on that by leveraging AI to frame individual faces and send multiple video streams into meetings. So everyone's really on that level playing field, right? So you're not looking at a bowling alley view of a conference room and all the participants joined from home from their laptops or have their own squares. So that is one that we built off with Smart Gallery, which transitioned into larger rooms with Intelligent Director. And I think with AI, what interests me most right now is we're living in this world where meetings are incredibly powerful, right? But sometimes the post-meeting assets are just as valuable as the meeting itself. And you can't have good AI outcomes without good audio and video. So we're doing things like smart name tags, for example, that allows us to identify who people are in those rooms, float a name tag, so you can see who they are. But most importantly, give that attribution to who said what in that meeting in those AI summaries and transcripts. It's not helpful if it says, hey, conference room A said ABC. You need to know who specifically in there. So I think the outcomes that we look at with AI and solving real practical challenges is something I'm passionate about, and it's great to see the industry coming a long way, and Zoom's certainly been hyper-focused on it for some time now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost hard to think about, like, how did we do this before that, right? I think having those tools after those meetings, you're really able to collaborate with others and share what was discussed in those calls. So very, very helpful, I think, in terms of collaboration. And we know, Frank, Zoom Rooms originally had started in more traditional meeting spaces, but now we're seeing them kind of explode into much more complex environments. And that innovation was also recently recognized with an Emmy. So congratulations
that is correct.
to you all for that.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. And so if you could just share a little bit about how Zoom is thinking about those advanced and more complex use cases. If you could share some information with that with our audience.
Yeah, I mean, when we talked about this, we thought about like listing out the 1,000 feature requests that we come out with every year, and that's one of the challenges that Zoom has, right? It's a good thing. We come out with so many advances, we're literally redefining things so fast that sometimes it's hard for people to keep up with the things that we're doing. And from an advanced AV perspective, I know like the crux of our conversation is always going to be AI. We talk about the thing, and the way we see it is that there's no powerful AI without good, strong AV, because that's essentially your space, the AI's eyes and ears into the room. So we prioritize that a lot. We're a very AV serious company. We're AI first, but we're AV serious. So I think from an advanced perspective, what we're trying to do is like we prioritize the fidelity of the media. We want high quality media. So if you've heard some of our announcements, we've announced something called enhanced media, which basically gives you higher frame rates, higher bit rates. It's high bandwidth, but that's needed in these larger spaces where you're looking to have multiple HD streams, 4K output, and we're just enhancing the media experience. And it's not just in a room, whether it's a meeting or your Zoom events or Zoom rooms, we're trying to build that higher quality media into it. So that kind of solves, once we've solved the media fidelity problem, the next thing we thought about is how can we improve on the architecture? Because at the end of the day, there's somebody installing this. These things don't just spin up by themselves. And every integrator they know, if you talk to them about a complex space, they'll say, oh my God, the conversation is going to start with a groan. I was a design engineer myself. Multi-purpose rooms still gives me nightmares. Yeah. But you know what? Zoom's solving for that. We've made sure that our architecture is not only scalable, we're looking to make a space a living part of your meeting, of your Zoom call. And so what we've done is that we've announced something, it was announced last year, and there's a lot of good conversations around it. It's called custom AV. It's a very blanket term, but what it is that we now have the ability to interop with audio, video over IP standards and some traditional AV standards. So NDI, Dante, SDI, and a whole slew of others that's coming along, we are able to interop with them. So look at yourself as a designer. We don't have to have that break in designs. Your Zoom room is essentially a node, a part of your environment. And this extends to our partnerships, which is, I guess, the next important thing. If you know us, we're partners with almost everybody. You can't walk 2 booths here without seeing the Zoom logo. And we're very proud of that. And we want to make sure that our partners, as they build their solutions, we're making sure that we're enabling them and thereby enabling end users. A very cool announcement and a very cool partnership as an example of this is VizRT, which is a traditional broadcast powerhouse. They've now stepped into the conferencing space with a very cool product. You should check it out. It's basically bringing in a new way of doing meetings. It's built on the Zoom platform. It's built on our Zoom ISV exchange. You're able to get it through Zoom, and it's really redefining what a cool conference looks like. So essentially, like from an advanced AV perspective, whether it is a traditional multi-purpose room, an auditorium, a space, or anything, the size of the space is not what's important. What are you trying to do in that space? We basically have an answer for that. And we want to make sure that people have the flexibility in designing whatever they want.
Yeah, for sure. And I know we're going to be talking about those partnerships, both new and current, that you have. But just to keep it AI for another minute, Frank, what are we seeing in terms of the ongoing AI and broadcast convergence from your perspective?
Yeah, I think it's important to understand that AI has always been seen as this foreign thing, a software, something that transcribes. There's a lot of definitions to what we see as AI, but the reality of it is there's learning in it, and it's learning constant prove on your experiences. So just like AV has always been focused on experiences, AI is actually building on that. So your room and your space, the way we see it, and we focus on that at Zoom, is that this is now AI becomes your accelerator. It makes you better. It makes you more efficient. And that applies to every part of it. In our VizRT based solution, if you look at it, there's a learning module that as you step into the room multiple times, it detects that, okay, you're a person who always has a phone in your hand. So we'll make sure that, the next time we do some green screen chroma key, we'll make sure that the phone is cut out appropriately. So there's learning that happens. Video and audio are not away, or it's not away from the AI conversation. They actually go pretty well close together.
Oh, great. And I want to touch a little on some of those partnerships that you had started to talk about. John, can you highlight some of those newer and more unique partnerships that you guys have announced?
Sure, absolutely. And as Frank mentioned, you can see our partners all over the show floor, which is fantastic. We pride ourselves on having an open ecosystem for Zoom rooms, right? But there's been a couple of new ones which have I would say shocked the industry in certain regards, because these are partnerships with Cisco and Google specifically, where we certainly do compete with them in certain areas. So I'll start with the Cisco announcement. So we announced back at InfoComm Zoom for Cisco Rooms. So we have obviously customers that love the Zoom meeting experience. And Cisco is still a major player in the video device market, and we have customers that love those devices and own those devices, and they want it to work better with Zoom meetings. So we've been supporting the ability for those devices to join Zoom meetings for many years, but our customers have been asking for more native meeting experiences. They love the native capabilities that come with Zoom meetings and AI Companion, being part of that, and the controls looking the same, the layouts looking the same. So that's really what prompted this, and for us to sort of drop our barriers and silos between and say, hey, let's do what's best for our joint customers and partner up here. So that's been a really interesting one. It just went general availability 3 weeks ago, and we're seeing amazing traction already with thousands and thousands of systems connecting already. So we're just getting started with that one. The second one is Google. So again, an area where we compete with them in certain areas, but they have been working on their Google Beam solution, which is a 3D conferencing solution for many years. And as they talk to their customers and the market and the industry around this, a big part of that was, hey, this is a great technology, but if it doesn't have Zoom included in it, it's going to be tough to deploy this because we're not going to set up a 3D system that can only talk to a 3D system. So that's really where this partnership was born with Google Beam, and HP makes the hardware called HP Dimension. And basically what it is it's a native Zoom room, right, that can do everything that a Zoom room can do. And then in those scenarios where it's connecting to another Google Beam system, it's an up-leveled experience where it is true 3D immersive experience. It's unlike anything that you've seen. It's on the show floor in the Google booth, so if you haven't had a chance to see it, I recommend. It's one of those ones where you can't watch a video of it and say, oh, that's really cool. You have to experience it. In Zoom's involvement in there, there's a lot of excitement from our customers and partners, and they love the fact that it's backed by that native Zoom room experience and everything that comes with it, with AI, our interoperability to other platforms. So we'll call it the co-opetition, as part of it. We compete,
I love that.
but we've got the partnership as well.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it's I mean, unfortunately, we're almost we're pretty much out of time. It's absolutely zoomed by. Anyway, but before we go, very quickly, is there anything that you'd like to highlight in terms of events or programs that are coming up, and where can people find you on the show floor?
I'll start off with a quick teaser and make it quick. At Infocom, we're going to do a boot camp. It's going to be the first of its kind. It's going to be a massive success. We know we're coming in with our partners, and we'll make sure those technical folks who always want more attention, you're going to get that hands-on experience. So we're planning a 3-day boot camp at Infocom. So.
Amazing. And where can we find you on the show floor?
All over the place. So all of our hardware partners are showcasing Zoom. So you can't really go 20 feet without seeing us. So keep an eye out there. And of course, zoom.com/spaces.
Yeah, and I'm sure you'll be able to spot
exactly.
Frank's
You
jacket.
see the blue suit, just flag me down.
It's that. It's fabulous, though.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. It's great to see you guys as always.
We really appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, so now we're going to pivot and take the conversation into a completely different direction. Most of us can point to people in our lives who gave us advice and guided us in our careers. Ben, you had the opportunity to sit down with Rachel Hamilton to talk about Rise AV, a great new mentorship program for women in the AV field.
Rachel, thank you so much for sitting down to chat with me. So we're here to talk about all things Rise AV, which I know you're heavily involved in, and specifically the Elevate program. Would you mind talking us through your sort of personal motivation for launching that initiative?
For people that don't know what Rise AV is, we're a not-for-profit organisation that empowers women through professional development, representation and community. It's been around for 10 years already in the broadcast industry, but my CEO, Sadie, brought it into AV last year. So I've been in the AV industry for about 20 years. I grew up in AV, and I was really fortunate that I was able to climb the career ladder, unlike a lot of women in the industry. But when I got to the top, it wasn't a very nice place, and I suffered quite heavily. I suffered in silence, really. I just battled to be valued and heard the same as my male colleagues. I was constantly spoke over. My decisions were always questioned or challenged. Didn't get the same level of support. I had to fight for the same job title. And then you find out that you're actually earning less than your male colleagues despite delivering a bigger turnover. So, what do you think that does to a woman, right? Anybody, but more specifically, I'm a woman. But this really impacts your confidence, your self-esteem, and your own, and your mental health. You start doubting your ability, your intellect, even your worth. So that's exactly why Rise AV exists. To break down these barriers and raise awareness, and to give women the tools and the skills to navigate these challenges. And that kind of brings me onto why I launched Elevate. It's a place very close to my heart because I was kind of stuck in that kind of management leadership kind of level, not managing.
Okay.
Well, that was a fantastic video there. I'm sorry that the viewers didn't get to see all of it, but it was a great conversation that I had with Rachel, and I'm pleased to say that our panel guests here are going to be continuing that conversation. So we have with us Daryl Clark from Workplace Vision, Hani Motamedian from PureAV, and Carla Mauritius, who's the global welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining us.
Wonderful. Thank you. Wonderful. How are you guys enjoying ISE so far?
Yeah, it's good. It's been very busy, but really, really good. So many visitors to the stand, so really positive.
That's always great to hear.
Excellent. So, Carla, I'm going to start with you. You've been involved with RISE for some time, and I believe this is the 9th or 10th mentor program you've managed?
Yes, I've been with RISE for 3 years now. So it started initially with RISE Broadcast. So we've been around it's our 10th anniversary next year, and that's global. So we are in 7 territories and launching in a 8th this year. And RISE AV has been around for 1 year. So I've been with us for 3 years now. And we run a program per year. So we have had a couple of programs run at the same time as well. So we run globally.
Fantastic. And so can you tell us what RISE is, what it does, and how people can get involved?
Yeah. We are a non-profit company, so we are purely supported by our sponsors. If we didn't have our sponsors, we wouldn't be able to run. And it's all about gender diversity and fostering, empowering and training women in this industry. So we will run our mentoring programs. We have our flagship 6-month mentoring program. We are developing new programs. We have an Elevate program, which is for women who are aspiring to get into leadership. We have a leadership program. So our mentorship programs are very, very key about what we do. We also have lots of training, network opportunities, and ultimately we're building a community, a safe place for women to be empowered and be seen and grow within the industry.
Excellent, good stuff. And I've seen a lot of activity on LinkedIn, so your marketing is obviously doing great jobs, and I know there's lots of sort of activations that are happening here at the show and across the city as I see. So kudos to the marketing team and all those people who've come up with those great ideas.
No, we absolutely love it, and we love having organizations like you here at ISE so people can learn, especially women, how we can make a greater impact and our voices to be heard in this industry. And Daryl and Hani, we're so happy to have you here, both mentor and mentee, joining us today to give us each your unique perspectives. So if each of you could tell me a little bit about why and how you got involved and what it's been like working together.
I'll defer to you.
Okay, so I think I found out about RISE AV on a LinkedIn post, and I thought, yes, this is exactly what we need. For years you push through and you rely on yourself or just the goodwill of others around you to help progress your career. But now this is a real source of formula for providing that structure for career progression.
Fantastic. And you, Daryl?
And, that's really echoing what Hani said. I mean, a lot of the businesses I've been involved in have tried to champion women in AV, and it's been a difficult path over the years. So something like RISE, where it gives it a structure and really encourages people to come and join and be mentors and get businesses behind it, was a fantastic thing. I was happy to help.
Yeah. Absolutely. And we love having, men as being a part of the process to help uplift women. It can't just be us by ourselves. So really, really happy that you both are joining us and we're able to participate in that program.
Yeah, most importantly though, what's it been like working together? That's what I want to know.
Go first.
Well, it's been inspiring working with Hani. I mean, it's great. We've a lot of the mentors have been around a long time. They have a good network, and helping people connect with other interested and like-minded people in the industry is good. And Honey's great to work with. We've continued the relationship past the 6-month period, and I think the mentors get as much out of the engagement as the mentees do. So I'd encourage anybody to come along and do mentoring where possible.
That's absolutely great to hear. It's so rewarding for the both of you.
Indeed, and I think, so when you apply to be a mentee, I wasn't quite sure what to expect. I mean, I wasn't scared, but I just thought, well, I don't know who I'm going to be paired with. It could be anyone. What if I don't like them? Or what if we just don't gel? But I think I was really lucky to be paired with Daryl. And it's all about, I think that well, I say lucky. I think a lot of effort went into the pairing. You know, matching people at their career level with people who are actually well suited to provide advice in their industry, in their area of expertise. So I was very lucky to be paired with Daryl from my perspective. And it's been really interesting because it's another voice, it's another successful voice in your vicinity that's helped guiding you along the way. So it's, you know, I've got people at work, people at home, friends, family, and now Daryl, all from different perspectives, offering a richer pool of advice.
Do you, Carla, have you had that situation where people have been paired up and they don't necessarily get on with their mentor, not for any kind of nefarious reason, but just like don't click? And do you have any way to sort of sort that, or are you just confident that you do enough work to make sure they get on?
It's a real process for us. So the application form is very detailed. It's a very coaching application form, actually for mentees and mentors, and we really take time. It's something we're really passionate about and quite skilled about, where we look at the journeys and we look at the similarities, and it's not just a matter of choosing marketing manager and matching them. It's a lot more in depth than that. So no, we haven't had any problems, to be honest. We have had situations where maybe someone's been poorly, we've had to replace, but we have a big pool of mentors that we can go to.
Wow, incredible. A database matchmaking service that actually works. It may be the first in the world. Daryl, what would you say to companies who are concerned and maybe skeptical about the ROI of putting staff through mentor programs like this?
Well, I think they win in two ways. Number one, it shows the mentee and the wider team that they're going to invest in the people they've got working for them. So that increases stickiness, it gets loyalty from the people. And then the skill set improves of the mentee, so they provide, you know, real value back to the business. I mean, I think businesses should be thinking, you know, I should do it, not why shouldn't I do it. We should be flipping it around entirely. You know, it doesn't cost that much in real terms for most of these companies, so they should be flooded with sponsors and people promoting it rather than asking why they should do it.
Yeah, and I suppose it's, I mean, we were speaking before when we were sort of discussing what we would talk about on this panel, and then, you know, the idea came out that through kind of empowering people, you can potentially as well reveal something in them that they didn't know they were capable of that is beneficial for the business as well, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, the ROI would be huge, I think. It's a really excellent thing to do. So it's disappointing when you hear the conversation around, well, I can't get the funding. You know, you think, well, this is madness. You know, the business needs to really flip its thinking about investing in, especially in women in AV. You know, that's something that we should all get behind.
Yeah, definitely.
I think on that as well, nothing's static, nothing's set. Things are fluid at work. You know, if someone shows themselves to have a particular skill or they want to pursue a particular thing, the business might not have been aware of that. You know, maybe new avenues can be made for them, or, you know, you find out sooner rather than later that our goals aren't aligned. You know, and I think it brings things into focus.
Yeah, save time and money.
No, that's very important. And just going off of your what you had said about fluidity, I think that, Carla, one of the things that's so powerful about mentorship is that it could be so dynamic, right? You have one person who's the mentor and then one person who's the mentee, but those relationships can often shift. Are you seeing that happen within your organization?
In regards to the mentee and mentor journey.
Or just mentors becoming mentees.
Yeah,
as well,
absolutely, yes. We've seen that quite a lot, actually. And I mentioned community earlier. People tend to not leave RISE. So once you've been through the program, you're part of the community. You'll go into the networking events and all of the other things that we do. And then that growth continues to happen. People want to give back. We are incredibly blessed with our mentors. And the mentees want to get involved again. So they don't go straight from being mentee to mentor because they're still on their journey. But we see a good percentage of people that have been a mentee and then they become a mentor. And we had this year, which was quite unusual, someone who had mentored for, I think, 4 or 5 years. They had gone through a massive journey themselves, big career change, and they applied to be a mentee.
Oh, really?
which-
They've gone the other way?
Yeah, they went the other way, which was remarkable. Really,
That's
really good to
amazing.
see. And again, that safe place, that trust, and they felt they were able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it really speaks to the the trust and like dynamism that the program has. The fact that it can be a place for everyone, no matter what stage of their journey they are. That's quite incredible. And Carla, can you tell us a bit about this myths and tips post that you put out last year? I gather it was quite popular.
It was really popular, yeah, because at the moment, we've got applications flooding in, and people want to talk. It's a 6-month program. They're nervous. They want to hear more. And the questions that were coming in are, am I too old to be on the program? Am I too young to be on the program? My title doesn't have anything technical in it. And it's that trying to talk yourself out of it. Am I brave enough to do that? So we just put together a myths and tips, myth busting of we don't discriminate on age. You can be any age. You can be going through the menopause. You can be 2 years into your career. You don't have to be in a technical, because RISE did start to support women in tech, and but we've grown so much. And so it was really, get your application in, let us make that decision of how can we support you, what's the journey, what can we do, and don't put the barriers up there, because actually there's no reason not to apply.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I know we're almost at time, but if each of you could just leave our audience with one personal note, what did you find the most rewarding about the work that you're doing and the impact that it's having on people in the industry with what you're doing here now?
Do you want to go
You go
first?
first.
Okay. For me, I know I'm biased, but they're life-changing. I get to be part of that community, and I see people going to each other's weddings, helping each other with redundancies. The community, for me, is the biggest thing. I know I'm the program manager, and I love that, but seeing people stay in the community, continue to support, continue to grow, it's community for me.
Wonderful, honey.
I'll just say one thing I learned on the course was whether you can or you can't, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. So it's up to you to decide which one.
I like that a lot.
That's the thinker.
I'm going to keep that
I like that one. Yeah,
yes, absolutely. And Daryl?
And I think the Elevate program, seeing that cohort of 25 women in a room, was hugely inspiring for the mentors. It was a really interesting journey, seeing them travel through the program, and at the end, I came out of it super motivated and excited. So there's a lot to be gained from being a mentor.
Good stuff.
Wonderful. Well, we can't thank you enough so much for joining us,
Thank
and we
you.
definitely hope people look into the program and sign up for that. So thank you again.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us.
Wonderful. All right. Well, what a day that we've had. It's been incredible. We've heard from so many people from the industry, and I have so many great takeaways. What do you have? What did you take away from today's conversations?
Well, I mean, it's always great to have these conversations. Everyone was amazing, but Anna on the green screen, she was just fantastic.
She nailed it.
I'm actually fearful for my job. So if you could all stop making her look so good, that would be fantastic, because I need to earn some money. So yeah, I think that just about does it for us. But there is more, as always, after the show. So stay tuned for another episode of The Tech Effect, followed by even more great podcast content.
Wonderful. So we'll be back here again tomorrow, live at 3 p.m. Central European Time and 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So be sure to tune in once again for AVIXA TV live at ISE for another full lineup of interviews and conversations from the show. I'm Samantha Powell alongside Ben Bernard, and on behalf of Ana Restrepo. See, I had to make sure I had the right accent.
You took a run up at that one.
Yes.
Big fan.
And everyone here at AVIXA TV, thank you so very much for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow live from ISE.
Bye.
Bye.
G'day, I'm Pete Techman Coleman. He's Mark the Bearded Tech Scan, and we are the Tech Effect live from the AVIXA TV studio at ISE 2026 in Barcelona, Mark.
I'm amazed every time you rip that out. You never make a mistake.
Read that out? What do you mean read that out?
Yeah, rip that out. Yeah. Aussie slang's coming again. Hey, the Aussies are in the house. It's good to be here again.
We're back.
Great to be here at the AVIXA TV studio, Studio 3. Come out and see it for a quick little plug. Pete.
Yes?
It's been a busy day.
Every day is a busy day at ISE.
Every day is a busy day at ISE.
Lots of walking, lots of people, lots of conversations.
Yeah. Now, you started a little bit earlier than normal.
Well, I actually, my day started last night.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you know, I don't like leaving things till the last minute, so I made sure that I had all my questions ready by midnight last night for the Smart Building Summit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yes.
So talk us through the Smart Building Summit
So
for those playing along at home.
Yeah, so for many, many years at ISE, they've had the Smart Building Conference, and then it turned into the Smart Building Summit, and I've been attending for like the last 10 years, I would say, when it was back in Amsterdam, like in the Rye there. And it was a really, really great program. Like, it used to be an all-day program, used to be on Mondays before the show, and it was fantastic. Always have great speakers there.
Yep.
And then after attending a number of times, I got to know, the organizer, Bob Schneider, and, and then it started, yes, as I do. And then he invited me along, like to present and so on. So we've become good friends.
Yeah, great.
And so every year he asked me to moderate a panel. Or, well, when I say every year, I mean, I did it for the first time last year in Barcelona.
I got some action shots there last year, yeah.
Yeah. So
in your element?
So today, so that's what I'm saying. Last night, up until midnight, putting questions together, I was having this argument about, like, Pete, you need to go to bed. And it's like, no, you need to stay up. And it was like, this chatter, It was very distracting. But I got the questions done, and I eventually got
there
some sleep.
Yeah.
But it was really good. It was called How Integration Enables Value in Smart Buildings. So
how innovation enables value in smart buildings. Okay, so was there a overall general synopsis?
Well, what was interesting is that the keynote speaker, his name is Eric Ubels. So for those playing at home, Eric Ubels is responsible for the world's smartest building, which is the Edge building in Amsterdam. It was built for Deloitte, right? So it was, they built it from the ground up. He used to work at Deloitte at the time, and they said to Eric, we want the world's smartest building. And he was in charge of that whole process. So he got all the manufacturers together, and he's like, this is what I want, and blah, blah, blah. And he bashed their heads together until he had the technology. So he had the vision.
Yeah.
He had the vision, and he
How
got
long ago
everything.
is this?
Well, this is the irony of this is that building opened in 2014.
Wow.
And I've been writing a thesis, putting a thesis together, which is entitled, The System is Broken, Why We Will Never See Another Smart Building.
Right, you've been putting that together.
That's right. Yeah. And it's based on Eric, that project, the Edge building.
Yeah.
Because when I was putting this together, I was like, I'll just go on ChatGPT and I'll say, what's the world's smartest building? You know what it came up with?
No.
The Edge building.
All right, okay.
10, 11, 12 years later.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
it's still the world's smartest building.
Yeah.
So the whole idea of it is I'm saying that the process is broken, that why we'll never see another smart building, right? Because, he transformed, he did it differently.
Yep.
And he had to do it differently to achieve what he achieved.
Yeah.
So, so he was the keynote speaker. So it was really good to hear him, because he's got some great stories and he's very, very knowledgeable. So we were just, that was kind of the theme. It's a discussion. It's a panel discussion.
It's almost like challenging thought process.
Status quo, really, changing the way we do things.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So what did you think of that smart building panel?
Yeah, it was fantastic. It's good. Yeah, I was
You weren't there?
No.
What?
I wasn't there.
I thought you were there to you were supposed to be there for support.
cheerleading. Yeah. Give me a P. Give me an E. Anyway, Pete.
Yes.
We have got some products to talk about because yesterday we talked about the university tech tour and we actually took a fair bit
how
of time.
good was that?
So good. But today we need to nail some products.
We do.
And we have nailed a few products.
Yes.
Tell
me.
Tell you. Today, number one, the Aussies definitely in town. It's always good to catch up with the guys from Turtle AV.
Yes.
You know, Eamon's such a character. And he's a smart dude.
Yeah.
He's a smart dude, and you have to be a smart dude like Bird Dog.
I was going to say, for those that don't know, he was one of the founders
of
Bird Dog.
Yeah.
Which is, does a lot of NDI stuff, like NDI cameras and boxes and things like that. Yep.
Yeah, and then done a little bit of a spin, partnered up with his mate Pavel.
Yep.
And done a bit of a spin into the world of Dante.
Correct. Using Dante AV as their transportation protocol.
Correct. So today, and they've only been out. This is their second ISE.
Well, remember, like last year, it was just him, and
he's the king of bootstrapping.
Yes.
Yeah. And wheeler and a dealer.
Yes,
who just
he
quietly.
We can't give away all these secrets.
No. But look, I think they've got something like 28 products now. Like in a very short space of time, I'm super impressed at their ability to just get products tested and out into the market.
Yep.
And it's quirky, some of the way he's done it as well. So, look, the real key, there was one key product there. Well, he's got 3 new ones, right? But there was one key product that I looked at and went, that's really cool. And
Which one was that?
That was the Bluetooth wall plate. Right?
Yeah, I love that one too.
Yeah, like simply got a button on it.
Yep.
It looks really nice. Got Decora
Decora plate.
European
square version.
Versions.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is what it's doing in the back end.
Yes.
Right, around the integration into control and an API and all the stuff that I can't remember what it was. But essentially it was the integration into the control systems.
Yes.
So effectively you can get all the metadata. Well, actually, before you get to metadata, pairing, right? Typically you've got a pair, you've got to have that. It makes no sense because you've got a touch panel and then you've got this hard button beside it.
The touch panel is not necessarily on the wall as well. It could be on the boardroom table, for example.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. So then you've got to try and get up and move around to pair because you're used to controlling here.
How do I connect my phone? Where are you looking? You're looking at the touch panel.
However, with the touch panel integration, now you can pair it from the touch panel.
Correct. So instead of having the wall plate, the wall plate has a button on it for pairing.
Yeah.
But you don't need to use that. A lot of other manufacturers, if not all manufacturers, don't fact check me on that. But it was the first time I've seen it.
Yes.
That you don't have to go over and actually press that pair button and connect your phone via that plate. You could actually integrate that whole process into the touch panel. Yep. And just go, all right, I want to pair, bang. So you're doing it from the touch panel, and that plate could be anywhere. Obviously it's Bluetooth.
Yeah. So the other cool part really was around the ability to get the metadata, essentially, all that information, say from Spotify or whatever it's going to be, up onto the touch panel. You can see what's going on. Plus, when you leave the room, when you leave the room, you need to. There's a security element to that, right?
Sure.
But instead of having 700 paired devices, it actually wipes all the current connections.
Yeah, well, and the example he gave, that Eamon gave, was when you get a rental car, right, and you pair your phone to it, right, for navigation. So you pair it, and there's like 500 names for all the people before you.
You come through trying to find it.
Yeah, you can't find it on there. So it clears all that. So there's none of that rubbish that comes up. It's just
and of course it's Dante. So it's Dante audio out and 50 millimeters. What's that in? We're in Europe. It's all metric.
50 millimeters is just over an inch. Yeah.
So it fits for Australians playing along at home. It will fit in a standard wall.
Yes.
Standard gyprock wall, 70mm stud wall. I don't know what you have in the States. You have blocks, don't you?
You have to back boxes.
Can I wind you up there?
No. That's a
whole other discussion.
We'll be here all night. Yeah. Back boxes
Anyway.
and conduits.
Yeah. So, look, I think he's doing a great job, all in all. It's a great product. His ability to get it to market is fantastic.
Yep.
So, yeah. Tell me something you've seen.
Well, so we went to Turtle, and then where did we go from there? I can't even remember. We've seen so much stuff.
I think we've been to AI Media.
AI Media, yeah.
You did an interview with Adrian.
Yeah, and that was really interesting because AI Media, look, they've been around for a while, right? But interestingly, this is only their second time at ISE.
Yeah.
So they were here last year and made a big splash. I know, like the AVIXA TV team have partnered up with them in the past as well, and doing, the transcription. Not only does it do transcription, it does translation, and not just translation from a text perspective, right? So it can overlay, obviously, what we're saying, translate it to Spanish, right?
Yeah.
Put it up on the screen. But now with Lexi Voice, they can actually speak to you, so people can hear that. So rather than having to read it, you could actually put some headphones on, and they were demonstrating that on the stand. So, so Adrian was there, who I was talking to about it, and he was demoing it. So he had a microphone and was using that to get his voice into the system.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you get that in the system, transcription, translation into Spanish, and I put the headphones on.
In something else?
Oh, well, it was in Spanish. It was
Okay.
here. It came out in Spanish because that's what he had it set to.
Yeah.
Obviously, being in Barcelona, it's probably
makes sense.
what you do.
Yeah.
Right? And it was unbelievable. Like it was, you know what I mean? Like I didn't know what to expect, but it was, and not that I understand Spanish, but you had someone who was quite passionate that was doing the translation on there.
Yeah.
And he said you can choose different voices, different genders, but also, someone who's passionate or placid, or you have all this variety.
Yeah.
So the user can actually listen to someone who they want to listen to.
Yeah. So can you train it around like the nuances of name pronunciation and things like that?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, that's really the AI and AI Media. That's when it really comes to the fore, because they have LLMs, right? They have these language learning models that they bring in, and they can, help train it. So they have their core, I suppose, model, and then they have these sort of, I suppose, plugins, that they can fine tune it and define it a lot more.
Super cool. So can you listen? Can you try start that again? If you translate on the screen to Spanish, can you listen to a different language?
I don't see why not.
Makes sense.
I don't see why not. I mean, that was just the demo that they gave, but I don't see why not. I believe that all three processes are separate processes.
Right. Yeah.
Because, and you think about, there's going to be a latency for transcription, right? Like it's not going to be, when I say latency, I mean to transcribe what someone is saying, it was like 1 or 2 seconds, right? It was super quick, right? Not the old 8 seconds that we kind of used to on the telly.
Yep.
Right, and then it's a couple of seconds later, it's doing the translation. So transcription first, translation in text, and then the speech is on top of that, right? So as I said, I believe it's 3 different processes with 3 different delays.
Super cool that they're here second year running. And it sort of says that, okay, now we're getting firmly entrenched into Pro AV, and there is a core clientele base to be able to start moving this and start spreading the wings and spreading the word.
But you think about it, like, what are the kinds of spaces that we deal with? Like, we're dealing with corporates, right? So you might have a multinational company that, they need to be able to speak multiple languages, right? That maybe they do a global quarterly meeting, and you need to be able to do that. They have to bring people in. We've designed spaces with people, a room where the translators sit to translate. Right?
Yeah, right.
Like we build dedicated spaces for that, right? So you don't need that anymore, right? Or maybe a house of worship, for example, right? You got someone giving a a sermon and, you know, you got people from all around the world and you want to be able to transcribe that, right?
Yep.
So, or translate that, I should say.
And you've got all the obvious government use cases.
Oh, sure.
Right?
I mean, even things, courthouses,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That's a given. So there's so many applications for it. Right?
Yep.
So it's a great product.
Yep.
It's just they're going from strength to strength, and it's funny that the name AI Media they've had that for quite a long time.
But
before.
it's not AI prior to AI, was it?
No, well, it's funny that the name AI Media was well before AI was a thing, a buzzword.
Yeah, nice. Pete, I got to look at the Hisense stand today.
Yes, what did you think?
It was pumping.
Wasn't it busy?
It was crazy busy. Look, I think it's great. I think it's really good to see them start to mature.
Sure.
They've had. I've used Hisense 100-inch displays. They're got really good price proposition in the Australian market, at least.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good to see them partner with the Crestrons and Extrons and the control platforms.
That's right. They had those partners up the wall.
And it sort of building that credibility, which is great to see. The cool thing, I think there's a couple of cool things. That there's a new version of the 100-inch, which the image quality was looking pretty heaps better.
Yep.
Which is really good, and I think that's due for release very, very soon. So it's really good to see DM66G version. I think now it's up to something along those lines. But what was super cool that I liked was they've got interactive LED.
You're really into interactive LED, aren't you?
Well,
I mean, I know you work a lot in education, and that's a common tool, right? That they use.
Or interactivity.
Right? That's right. Yeah.
Certainly in the K-12 space, it's a pretty important thing.
Of course. No more projection, right? Like, I mean, remember? I mean, are they still putting that in the interactive projection?
Yes.
Oh, they are? Okay.
Yes.
Every time I see it, it looks just washed out. You know, it's
we could get on I could get on a rant about that one. I just think that people putting it in now, and one of my sales guys back home talks about it a lot, and it makes a really good point in the sense that they're rolling their stuff over in a K-12 environment every 5 years.
Sure.
So you're putting in technology now, and what's it going to be in 5 years? Like, what's going to be in 2 years? Is it out? If you're putting in arguably out-of-date technology now, what's that look like in 5 years? So, I don't know. That's a whole can of worms, that one. So
over a couple of whiskies.
Over a couple of many whiskies.
Yeah.
But anyway, I looked at the 108 LED.
Yep.
I liked it. Interactive LED. I saw interactive LED. Amsterdam was the last ISE, right? But it was very flaky and felt terrible.
A bit too early, right?
Bit too early.
Yeah.
Feels like that's starting to mature now, and I think I've seen it in other stands as well in the last couple of years. But it's now going to get to a price point that you can roll out, and I think that use case for that is not the standard classroom.
Mm-hmm.
It's 108 inch.
Yep.
Right, and I don't think you'll do it for your standard classroom in Australia for under 10 grand.
Yeah.
You're not going to get there, right? But you'll certainly use it in a small little lecture hall or something like that, where you've got some maybe some projection support to fill a lecture hall.
Sure.
And you've got the person down there using that interactive space. So I think that would work.
Sure.
Quite all right. So yeah, that was good. It's good. Yeah.
And then Sennheiser. We went to Sennheiser today.
Sennheiser. We did go to Sennheiser.
Yes.
2 products.
Yes.
Now, you looked at a product called, do you know how to, can you remember it?
Spectra?
Spectera?
Spectra. Oh my God. I couldn't remember. We were shooting a video there and I couldn't remember it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So look, it's a pretty exciting technology.
Yeah.
If you had to try and...
Well, it's a little unusual for Sennheiser, like a name like that. Normally it's a EDW, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of a model number rather than a name.
Yeah, certainly is.
Yeah.
If you had to try and sum up what that technology was about, could you do it?
Okay. It is a game changer for wireless microphones.
Yep.
Simple. Like, I mean, without I mean, I'll talk about the technology, but it is, it condenses the number, it enables a lot more channels, receivers, right? Microphones to be deployed in the same bandwidth as regular wireless microphones. Okay, so they've been able to condense that, right? So that the amount of space that they or bandwidth that they take up.
Yeah. One RF channel, I think, isn't it?
That's right. I think they get. Well, I can't even remember the number.
250.
200. Yeah, something like that.
Something
like that into one channel. I was like, how are you doing that? Yeah. And I was talking to Jonas there, and he was saying that they've been working on this for 5, 6, 7 years. Like, so this is for them nothing new, right? It's been
I'd be sick of talking about it.
Yeah, but for it to be available, and it actually, to be fair, it got released last year. Yeah. But to actually dive into the details on it with him and find out like all the nitty gritty, it was unbelievable. Like to be able to deploy that many wireless microphones in the same bandwidth as you'd get a handful is crazy.
Yeah. So if you're summing up, it'd be like it's a proprietary transmission that allows you to do multiple channels of microphones, two-way.
Yep. Well, that was
in a very small spectrum.
I mean, you think is
that the summation?
No, that's right. Well, basically, it's like compressing files, right? Like they're compressing it all into much smaller packets. Yep. And you just touch on it. They also have the beauty of this product. It also has a return channel. Yeah. Now, typically, return channels have been only available in say DECT technology wireless microphones. So you could, but even then, it wasn't necessarily every microphone channel had its own return channel. Like it might have been 1 in every 4, for example. Yeah. Right. Like I think the Shure MXW DECT system, wireless microphone system, I think it had 1 return channel for every 4 channels. So, which was handy. It was great, especially when you're talking about like a theater kind of thing and you want two-way comms. Yeah. Or even a space like this, you know, having the two-way comms as well, right? Yeah. So that was beautiful. But you know what? For me, the thing that really was really the icing on the cake was there's 2 things. One was the cabling infrastructure for the antennas.
I was so hurt. I was so hurt.
God, I was so glad. You have to stop living in the past, my friend. You have to stop living.
I'm an RF boy.
I know.
I'm an OG RF guy.
I get that, but you know we are well and truly past those days. And why do we keep running coax to antennas? Like, surely let's packetize it, right? Let's put it on the network. So anyway, they've done that, albeit it's not on the network. And the reason why they haven't put their antennas on the network was purely out of latency. It wasn't a technology restriction or anything like that. Their concern was by going through a network switch, doing everything that it does, the latency would be too great. So people would be talking into a microphone, it goes through the switch, and then it comes out much later. You can't have that, right, when it comes to wireless microphones. So it is using twisted pair cable, which is great, right, because that's in every single building around the world, so perfect. But the real game changer is their 32-channel 1 RU. And I called it a receiver. And he corrected me. He said, "Oh, we don't like to call it a receiver, right? Like it's
well, to some degree, the antenna's the receiver, right?
Well, of course,
they call it a base station, I think.
Well, it's actually a transceiver because it's two-way comms, right? So it's actually a transceiver. But you know, the receiver, what we would typically call a receiver in wireless microphone world, 1 channel, 2 channel, 4 channel. Yeah. Right.
Taking up 1 RU.
There's 32 channels.
Yeah, all in 1 RU.
1 RU.
Plus. The good thing, there's no distro, stuff
for the antennas.
For the antennas.
The antennas, you used to have to. You wanted one big system. You'd have to daisy chain, and it was just a nightmare. And look, to be fair, even Sennheiser had a web page, a configurator for that, and it would show you how to wire the whole thing up, like from a design perspective. It doesn't need to be that complicated, and it supports Dante. So all you're doing is that you want more. I mean, you know, having 32 channels is a lot. You want more? Put another box in, and then you connect it via Dante back to the DSP. Off you go.
Hey,
job
presto.
done.
Job's done.
How clean and simple, and all that rack space saved. It's game changer.
The cool
Game
thing
changer.
is also that a little bit like right now, right?
Yeah.
We've got a headset.
Yes.
I've got an in-ear.
That's
and
what
I've
I'm
got
saying.
A pack for that and a pack for that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's all in one, isn't it?
All in one.
It's
Yeah.
a beautiful product.
So it's very
Beautiful.
Good. Look, the other one, it would be remiss if we didn't talk about is Heckler.
Oh yes, of course.
Great to see them second year again.
Second year, yeah.
And their product called Framework.
Yes.
Absolute cracker.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah. Look, just the ability to scale that to any size in any format, any situation for any display size. I think from 55, I can't remember whether it's 55 or 43, probably anything.
Yeah, I think you get it. Really comes down to like the bracket, the size of the brackets at the back, right? Because obviously we're putting bigger and bigger screens in these rooms all the time. So you get to a point
we're not
where
worried about going down.
You're not really
worried.
Yeah, you're worried about going up, not going down.
Yeah. Interesting. He's had to. That's like, I think it's been on the market about 8 or 9 months.
Yeah.
Now, and that's obviously already evolved. And Dean Heckler, man, what?
He's amazing.
He's an amazing guy. But everything about Dean is presented in the most amazing, like himself.
Yep.
He's clean cut. He's always looking really sharp.
Yep.
And that goes through from right through his life and into his business, right? Everything.
Imagine his house.
Imagine his house.
Imagine his house. Nothing would be out of place.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And we were trying to get shots, and he's like lining up some of the bottle openers, and there's a little thing.
Yeah.
You feel like walking through and just putting everything on an angle.
Messing it all up.
But look, that whole framework is the same as him.
Yes.
Is beautifully presented.
Yeah.
They do a very good job of making complex simple.
Yep. That's true.
So you can make it all toolless.
But that was the thing, right?
Yep.
Like, remember he was telling us a story about their manufacturing process, and he was saying that, in the past, what they had to do in the factory, they'd have to weld the legs on.
Yeah.
And,
imagine that process.
Yeah. But, okay, it's twofold, right? It's the time, the effort, the cost in the factory. But what about transportation? If those legs are welded on like that,
it changes that.
It changes that whole transportation.
So I had a chat to him about the evolution of that.
I know that. I ever heard it. That's what I was
talking about this tube machine that they have to use to cut all this tube.
Yeah.
$2 million this machine's worth.
Wow. Just for tube.
Just for tube. And they laser cut it. And what they can do with it's pretty amazing. They can roll the tube and laser it. And so they're actually not just cutting the hole in the tube, they're cutting the right angle on the cut.
Yeah.
Super, super cool. Really well defined.
And if you have a close look at it, like when he says toolless, it's like Lego. It just like connects into one another, right?
Yeah.
Bang, bang, bang. And what did he say? He said you can build this whole stand in an hour.
Yeah.
Like, once again, you get it in a flat pack.
It's funny when you asked him that. He's like, an hour? What do you mean? Like, from start to finish in an hour. Job's done. Unpacking the TV, hanging it, the whole shebang.
But the flexibility of that framework system. I mean, so you got obviously. We're just talking about the carts in particular there, but that framework system is incredible, customizable. It's modular. You know what I mean? Like, and you're not sort of drilling holes in the wall. It's all self-supported. I mean, sure, you got to put a couple of screws in to just hold it upright, kind of thing. But all the weight is supported on the stand itself. And you mentioned that every aspect of what they do, whether it's their stand, their products, Dean. Their website. Their website is phenomenal. You were looking at their products and just spinning it around and
and how they do it. Yeah, and you can spin, and you can just keep zooming and zooming and zooming, and the detail.
The detail.
You can see the cross on the Phillips head screw. Like it's just.
He loves that stuff, though.
He
That's
loves
him.
it.
That's
He
who
geeks-
he is.
Yeah, and yeah.
No wonder
good
he
on
put
him.
his name to the company. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like-
yeah. That's right. Imagine that. You
Yeah.
go, if I'm going to do this,
Yeah.
it's my name.
Yeah, that's
it
right.
better be good.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
look. Anyway, we're nearly time to wrap up.
Right.
I'm going to do a quick plug.
Uh-oh. What for?
Well, yesterday.
Yes.
We haven't got it here.
Oh, yes. Yes,
Oops.
we should have brought it again today.
Oops.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Techanaut.
Techanaut.
We had a
yeah.
little alien dude.
The Tech Effect
Award.
Award.
Techanaut.
Techanaut.
Awards.
Yeah.
Uh,
the Techanaut
yeah.
Awards.
We had
yeah.
11 awards. We're going to be on the hop over the next couple of days.
Yes.
We're selecting
We're,
those.
we're
We've been-
already keeping an eye out. Right?
Yeah. So if you get a tap on the shoulder, not you. If you get a tap on the shoulder, 11 awards. We've got heaps of them.
And we have a winner over here from Infocom.
Yeah, we wonder if they can.
yes.
Wonder if they can go back to back.
No, I don't know about that.
Anyway, look, it's that's us for a wrap. We're almost out of time.
Yes.
We're getting the wind up from Kerry over here.
We could be here all night.
We could
Why
be
don't we
here all
just continue throughout the night, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've still more.
Yeah, we got so much
still
to
more
talk
products
about
to talk
anyway.
about. But look, tomorrow we're back.
Yes.
4:30.
Correct.
Same bad time, same bad channel. AVIXA TV. It's great to see you.
You too.
And we'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right. Bye
Cheers.
for now.
Hello, I am Brad Hinsey, EVP Customer Success and Marketing at Crestron. I'm joined today by Mr. Alex Paris, our VP Product from Crestron, and then also Joel Mulpeter, our Senior Director of Product Marketing in the commercial space for Crestron. And so today at ISE, the visitors here to our booth, they're getting a look at some of the latest offerings that we announced just a couple of weeks ago. It's a whole new suite of hardware and software products that work seamlessly together to deliver outstanding collaboration experiences. Taken together, they're actually a part of an ecosystem that helps organizations accomplish something that we call engineering a culture of collaboration. All right, Alex, why don't we talk a little bit? I just said engineering a culture of collaboration. Why don't you explain what we mean by that a little bit?
Sure. So when we're engineering, we're thinking about solving problems, right? Focusing on user experiences and driving with intentionality. So the first thing that we do is we look to solve and make every space intelligent. And how we do that, we want the space to be adaptive and natural for the end users, so the technology just seamlessly flows away from what they're doing. They don't feel like it's even there. So as we engineer for the culture of collaboration, we're driving with intentionality to make sure that they have a solid foundation so that they can just go about their day and not even know the technology's there with them.
So we have a lot of discussions about making things human-centric. Why is that important, and you know, what is it that we're looking for to make things more human-centric?
I think the basic thing is that when you're using technology and it doesn't work with you or for you, you automatically hit a barrier, right? Where someone's trying to use a button or use a touch panel, and if something doesn't feel right or doesn't feel natural, automatically that hesitation comes up, and then you're afraid to use the space again. So as we think of human-centric design, it's how do they feel when they're in the space? When they go touch the button, does the space around them, lights turn on, shades close, cameras come on? They don't even know the audio and camera are there. It just happens naturally. And that's really the focus. The focus is the total experience so that you can collaborate efficiently and just work as normal.
So that's something that I think is easy to say, a little bit harder to do. So Joel, what is it that you think it takes to actually make that real?
Yeah, it's about understanding the space, right? Every space has its uniqueness. Every space has a workflow, right? Humans go into a space expecting it to achieve something for them, and you need to understand that workflow. You understand what the space is there to do, what they're trying to deliver, what the user's trying to get out of it. That's the starting point. Once you know that, we can start to wrap technology around solving for those use cases. If you don't have that detail early up, you're going to end up putting in technology for no reason.
But we're at a show that has really cool technology all over the place, and we're seeing and touching and feeling all of this cool stuff. But we're here talking about this human-centric design. Why should we pay attention to that?
Yeah, we should pay attention to that really because hybrid work is obviously here to stay. But it is right now becoming a standard way of working. And we are looking to deploy more spaces, have more spaces set up, especially with things like return to work, return to office being so prevalent. And we are looking to make these spaces really work for the users of those rooms. So that technology is what enables that and helps us to have the best spaces possible.
So Alex, I know that you have been really pushing the team to make sure that we're connecting closely with our customers. The mix of integrators, consultants, and users that are using our technology to funnel this voice of customer into the new products that we're developing.
A lot of work.
What have you heard in some of these sessions? And then also, what are some of those guiding principles that you've given to the team as we go and embark on this process?
Sure. So I'll start off on the installer side. I think that's for the focus of getting the system up and running. Right? They need to be fast and simple to deploy. We need to be scaling to the thousands. We're not just deploying one room, and when we scale to the thousands, it's not about just putting it in and running away. Right? It's making sure that it's predictable, that when I'm installing it and I'm scaling it, I know that it's going to work. I know I can manage it. I know I can support it. Then the second set of users are the people that are like focused on that space, right? Now it's been installed. I'm going to use the conference room, or there's multiple users in the conference room, but I don't have a team of 500 people to manage all the conference rooms. Maybe there's a team of 5, 10. And they need to make sure that they can see every aspect of the room to make sure it's going to be reliably working for them. And then lastly is the end users, right? And it goes back to the beginning of the conversation of just making sure that it's seamless. Press a button, everything starts, everything works naturally for me. And then I think the next level to that is that for the end users, if we get the first piece of it right, which we are, because we're driving with that intention, it allows us to bring out new experiences to those end users, like what we're seeing with AI capabilities in products and technology in platforms at the show.
Great. Well, I think it's very compelling vision. It's very interesting. Now let's talk about the reality of what we announced. And so let's get into the specific products and elements of the ecosystem. So let's start first with something that we call the collab compute. All right, when we talk about engineering, a culture of collaboration, the world and the way we work has certainly changed dramatically over the last 5 years. So Joel, let's talk about how did that shift in the way people work and the solutions that got deployed in an ad hoc way over that time, how did that lead us to this moment and this new collab compute?
Yeah, we spent a lot of time as we were developing and coming up with the collab compute concept, really speaking to customers, trying to understand what kind of meeting spaces do they have, what meeting spaces are they deploying today and in the future. And the reality is we're deploying more spaces than ever before, but we're deploying a wider variety of spaces than ever before as well. So we really set out to have a platform that would allow us to cover
all those spaces with almost no fragmentation. Right? We want to make sure that no matter what the space, no matter what the workflow, cloud compute can be the heart, the core of that room, and you can deploy it from that huddle right through to high impact.
Yeah, so certainly the hardware needs, avoiding these fragmented systems and the pain that comes along with managing it is one aspect of this change that we've been wrestling with. But Alex, I've been in a lot of meetings with you, and we rely heavily on AI note-taking, Microsoft Teams and Zoom, Facilitator, all of that. Let's talk a little bit more about how that pushed us to develop this product as well.
Sure. So, I mean, we're living in the era of AI, of course, and there's two aspects of that era. The first is that we have to make sure that the hardware supports all the capabilities that the platforms will be able to support now, but then most importantly in the future. And so the way that we do that is we work with our partners and understand their visions and roadmaps for the platforms, their basic capabilities of what's happening, and we intentionally put that in. So for the cloud compute, we focused on CPU and GPU performance, increasing that dramatically from 2.5 times on the CPU and 8 times on the GPU. And also another point, especially for this market, is power consumption. Yeah. Right? When you go up in performance, you also want to make sure that you're not going up in power as well. But we're happy that with the design where we were able to drop 20% in our power. But then with that is also making sure that the hardware it can have the sufficient memory, and that one is a tricky one where you can say, okay, should every model support it? And one of the main intentions in our decisions was to make sure every model of cloud compute supported the required memory so that we can expand beyond that. And then you just choose between, do you want the compute that we know works right now into the next 3 years or go to 5?
Yep. Well, ultimately, we want to enable customers to take AI to every meeting room,
exactly,
in every meeting space. So you need a lot of that hardware as well. You talk a lot about the edge AI capabilities that we have introduced. What do you think stands out most to you in terms of what we've added to this product?
Yeah, we added, outside of the AI aspect, we really spent a lot of time looking at the I/O on the product as well, right? As we look at these myriad of spaces, all the extra types of spaces we have, we need to make sure we can support all the peripherals that need to connect, all the display configurations that are used today and in the future, and also make sure that when we do that, we use all the right cabling types, all the right ways that our integrators want to deploy that, things like built-in power supplies that just make that simple, but really hitting the reset button on all of that and turning this into a true purpose-built device for hybrid meetings.
I still think you guys are underselling some of it because I think every time I look at the product or hear a discussion from somebody's highlighting the product, the ease of install, the robustness, the particular specs and features there. I think the content ingest, using DM Essentials to be able to bring that from the table back to the compute, I think is very unique and interesting, right? It's not just a computer off the shelf. No. It is something engineered specifically for this channel. So if you're at ISE, come take a look at it. You got to get your hands on it. If not, then come track one of us down and we'll come to you, or you can come to an experience center to see that. So now let's shift to another major component of this launch, another way that we're leveraging AI to deliver an experience. And this is really focused on something that we call Auto Measure as a part of our One Beyond solution. Okay, Alex, let's start with you on this one. So when you're setting up a room for One Beyond and a multi-camera system that's very intelligent, the measurements matter. Why do they matter so much?
Everything matters. The measurements, the placement in the room, and they matter because the system needs to know how it all comes together. Right? Our Automate VX is spatially aware. It understands the room, it understands where the table is, where people sit, where the cameras are, and where the microphones and speaker are. And with that spatial awareness comes math and comes measurements. So if one thing changes after the install happens, designer walks in and says, I don't like the table at this inch, I want to move it back 3 inches. Everything can be thrown off by that one measurement. And of course we correct for that with AI at some point, but sometimes the spatialness or the forcing of the spatial features in there have to have the exact measurements.
Yeah, so clearly it was architected for that kind of spatial awareness, but what benefit does that bring? I mean, we've had pre-configured presets to switch cameras previously. I mean, the industry's used that. Why go to the effort of engineering it to have this level of spatial awareness?
It's for the dynamicness, right? People tracking human behavior, it's pretty hard to predict, right? Humans do things that we don't expect. So with Automate VX being spatially aware, understanding what's happening in the room live and dynamically, it can react to those changes as people move around the room, as they shift. All those things we can capture, so we're still sending that best experience to the external parties from outside of that room.
Yeah, I think one of the places where we can see the benefit of that spatial awareness is, you know, the ability to switch cameras based on where someone is facing, right? If you don't know there's a camera over in this side of the room as they turn, you're not going to be able to switch to that, right, and deliver that kind of an experience. All right, so Alex, why don't you walk us through what that little cube thing was,
Sure.
and what that does in this process?
Sure. So the Aruco code, or the cubes that we have, allow the microphones to, the microphones and the cameras to automatically come back together. So when you run the measure process, the cameras automatically go into this mode where they go looking for Aruco codes around the room. And then we use the computer vision to do all the math for you automatically, where a process that would have been many measurements and many hours, depending on the size of the room, now happens in minutes.
Yep. Now, minutes, how much time does it really save? What does that do really to the install process?
Yeah, so if we look at a typical Automate VX room, let's go to 7 cameras plus a microphone or 2. That can take up to 4 hours of doing the measurements, right? Because you're measuring every camera in relation to a 0.00. What happens with auto measure is we're shifting that 4 hours to 10 to 15 minutes. And not only is it moving to 10 to 15 minutes, but it's obviously incredibly accurate because they're leveraging computer vision, right? Even doing the measurements manually, it's one person on a ladder yelling out measurements to someone else, prone for human error. Or it's one person climbing up and down a ladder, typing into a keyboard or a laptop, again, prone to human error. The nice thing about computer vision and computers, they don't make the same errors we do. So we let that take over all of that and do an incredibly accurate job of detecting where everything is and pulling all those measurements in.
So this has been part of the journey that Automate VX has been on, developing the computer vision, the visual AI technology that's on there. What are some of the other things that we've added to this system over the last couple of years to get us to this point?
Oh, it's been a whole journey of AI, right? I think the first focus was on the end user experience. So making sure that we were reframing appropriately as they changed their seats. We were naturally following them. Then you touched on it before, right? When we're talking in 2 different areas, I want to make sure if I'm looking at one camera, I'm switching to that camera. If I turn my face, I'm looking at another camera. I'm naturally following there. So our focus really in the last few years have been on the end user experience. Now we're really focused on enhancing the dealer install, the time to scale, and then from there it just continues to expand as we add more features now to both the end user experience as well as the dealer experience.
Right, great. Okay, so Crestron has been known as a control platform since the company was founded more than half a century ago. So we've taken that another step forward, and in that segment, we wanted to introduce the new 80 series touchscreens. Okay, Joel. So, isn't a touchscreen a touchscreen? Why update the touchscreens now?
Yeah, you could think a touchscreen's just a touchscreen, but when we were thinking about the 80 series, really wanted to take a step back and just understand what are, in today's modern workplace, modern learning environments, what are the touch points that people have to interact with those screens? So we really summarized it to 3 key touch points. The first one really starts outside of the room with scheduling, right? You walk up to a room before you enter, you see the scheduling panel, it gives you indication of whether the room's booked or free, tells you who's got it booked, allows you to book it, has some interaction with it. When you step inside of the room, usually the next interface you see is something to do with doing your UC call, right? So that Teams interface, that Zoom's interface that's present on that panel, allowing one-touch join. And then once we go beyond that, as the spaces get a little bit bigger, we move into things like room control as well, right? That orchestration of all the technology onto that easy-to-use interface that anyone can walk into the room and take benefit of that space. So they're kind of the 3 key touch points we tried to land on with 80 series. And to achieve that, we have now one common platform that you can deploy the same type of panel across all those spaces with the same benefits. One's built purpose-built for scheduling, purpose-built for UC, and then panels that allow us to do full room control as well.
I think that for many years people have asked, are touchscreens still relevant? Why should people even consider deploying them? And so what do you think? Do you think it's still important?
Of course. Of course it's important. The biggest thing, or the biggest reason why, we use our phones every day, right? That's an interface that we connect with. And the visual indication around the room, whether it's outside the space, within the room to use the UC platform or to just control the space, there's a connection there that has to flow, right? And just like your iPhone flows naturally when you take it out of your pocket and you can just go into it, if the hardware around you isn't the same and doesn't feel the same and there's not consistency there, then it goes back to where we were in the beginning of the discussion where everything's just unnatural.
Right.
So this common platform that we built was all architected upon the idea that you can flow commonly across your space with your design intention for whatever is meant for the space. And then as the end users use it, there is no friction. Whether they're outside or whether they're inside, they know that when they touch that, it's going to be reliable and it will work in the way that they expect it to.
Yeah. So are customers deploying more or less touchscreens?
We're definitely seeing more, right? We're seeing that with all the rooms getting enabled for UC, obviously that's driving touchscreens in spaces that maybe previously would have been someone using a laptop. But also as we start to build larger spaces, technology needs orchestration, right? Just putting technology in a room but not allowing it to be usable or user-friendly is not a good experience, right? As non-technology experts are actually the real users of these rooms, that's where touchscreens simplify that experience, right? You get to go in, have Crestron control in the background that's automating all the products, and that touchscreen that's been that human interface to allow people to interact with that system.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting the way that now screens are so ubiquitous. You can have them anywhere and start putting them anywhere, right? Outside of a conference room, on a desk, these other applications. It does become an easy touch point for somebody to walk in and take advantage of a space, right? So there's another feature of the touchscreen that I don't know many people would have initially associated with the touchscreen, and that's the Microsoft MDEP inclusion here. So why do you think that's something that people should pay attention to?
Yeah, so when we built the 80 series, we have built them on MDEP, or Microsoft Device Ecosystem Platform. And that really allows us to make sure that the security posture that these panels allow matches what our customers are expecting, right? So every one of our customers has a unique security posture, which is the way they put the devices on their network and their expectations to keep that secure. So by us aligning with and using MDEP or that Microsoft Device Ecosystem Platform, it allows us to make sure we can serve what those customers need. We take security very seriously at Crestron. Anything that's we make and anything that's on the network is security first, and this allows us to make sure that we can meet those expectations of our customers.
Yeah, great. Anything else you're excited about with these new touchscreens?
Yeah, two big things. The scheduling panels that we integrated the light bar. I think that was a huge request from the voice of the customer wanting to integrate that. It also now allows you to pair the status sign that we have with that panel. So that's a really big addition. The second thing is the setup experience. When our customers take these devices out of the box, they will see a completely changed experience from what they've expected in the past. We're really looking to streamline the configuration, make it effortless. When devices connect together, they just automatically connect. There's no added steps to it. Yep. And one of the pieces that you'll see also, in addition to the security posture with MDEP, is also the simplified setup wizard that comes with that as well. So we're really excited about both of those applications.
Yep, great. All right, let's shift back to the video side of collaboration. So One Beyond has been a part of our portfolio for quite some time. And so now we've added a new camera to that lineup. So let's take a look at some of the video of these cameras while we're talking about them a little bit more. So Joel, why don't you talk a little bit about what sets this particular model apart?
Yeah, sure. So the One Beyond i12D, as you mentioned, Brad, it's an addition to our One Beyond lineup, but it really sits in between what we do with our multi-camera Automate VX and our single lens solutions in spaces as well. So as you can see on the footage there, it is a dual head PTZ camera. It has an additional third camera in the base, and we use all those lenses to give experiences around things like group framing, speaker tracking, and composition, where we're mixing video feeds together on the screen, and also support things like intelligent switching, where we're connecting to other cameras over the network to bring into that device as well. So really delivering that multi-camera experience in a simple to deploy standalone device that also allows that extension to multiple microphones, and again sits right nestled between Automate VX and a single lens solution.
So how does a camera like this with the two lenses contribute, I guess 3 lenses, right? Yep. How does it really contribute to the remote attendee experience, and why should customers take this into consideration?
Yeah, so it helps to connect people who are not in the room to what's happening in the room by focusing on the conversation, right? So we have speaker tracking inside of this device. So it has a built-in mic array, so there's no external microphone for that. You get to have a completely independent audio system for your UC call, but it has its own mic array in it that gets direction of arrival audio, so we understand where people are speaking in the room, and we use that to make camera decisions for speaker tracking. So those two PTZ heads, they work with one another. Whilst one's zooming in on someone, the other camera is looking for who's going to speak next. We do clean camera cuts in between those cameras, so you never see movement. And then we always have the wide angle camera in the base of it for things like group framing and switching to when those speaker tracking cameras aren't being used or when no one's speaking in the room. So overall, the end user experience is very curated as to what the conversation activity in that room is.
So, so it certainly sounds very intelligent, and we were talking about Automate VX earlier and building visual AI on top of that. Is this the same technology that's in this camera? Is there a relationship there?
Yeah, there's a relationship there, and it actually goes back to what Joel said before, right? So group framing, speaker tracking, composition mode, all of those features provide the dynamic, engaging experience, but also making sure that they have the step, right? Where you start at the single camera, then now you can expand your cameras, and then you can go to your larger systems. And it talks back to the consistency that we were talking about through touch interfaces and compute before, right, where you can now hit every space, where we start in a basic space and then we step our way up as you need to drive that more engagement and video experience for the remote participants.
Right. What does that the remote end experience really look like?
Yeah, so we have a few different modes in the camera itself, but I'll start with its most common use case, which is no one speaking in the room. I'm looking from the far end. We do group framing, right? So that group framing simply removes the dead space in the room, right? So 2 people sit in a 10-person boardroom. We're going to zoom in on just 2 people, right? So you're not losing, you're not having a whole bunch of unnecessary context. Then as soon as people speak in the room, we go into speaker tracking, right? So as an individual speaks, that camera or that microphone would hear that and track that with the direction of arrival. Camera zooms in on that individual, and you get that crisp close-up of that person, so we can see that emotion, see how they're speaking and understand, feel like we're really connected to them. Whilst they're speaking, we can do composition, which is where we will put a picture-in-picture or a PIP in one of the corners of the lens, or one of the corners of the frame. And that allows us to get that full room context. So whilst I'm zoomed in on one individual, I still understand what's happening in the room. I don't lose that context. I still know if people are listening, getting up and leaving, all those great things. And then if two people start speaking, we have an additional feature called called conversation mode. And what happens with conversation mode is as long as two people speak within a certain time, we will actually put them side by side on the screen. So again, using that composition and the two PTZ heads to track individuals, and as they talk back and forth, you will get them both on the screen at the same time. And then the final feature is the intelligent switching. So having those three lenses at the front of the room is great, but there are rooms where the front of the room could also be used as a presentation zone. So that's where we allow our intelligent switching to other external cameras, other one beyond cameras, to be connected over the network. And that means that 3-lens camera capturing the table, capturing all the action that's happening in the room. As an individual gets up and stands at the front, all of a sudden they're standing next to the camera instead of in front of it. We will switch to a camera at the back of the room, which will get them as the presenter. As soon as they finish presenting and sit back down, we go back to the I-12D again. All of that happens automatically. You don't have to press any buttons. It's all based on visual cues and audio cues that get fed into the system, and that intelligence just happens for you.
Right, great. So in addition to the camera, we also introduced a whole new audio lineup of several key components, and that is the DM-NAX Intelligent Audio Platform. So how does all of this audio also factor into what we're doing here?
Audio is the most important part of the whole thing.
Yep.
Right, if you can't hear someone talking or hear what's happening in the conversation, then there's no meaning, right? You could see someone on screen, but you lose the context of exactly what's happening. And the clarity of someone speaking, the intentionality, the tonality sometimes, or all the time, means a lot. And so our new intelligent audio platform really is to make sure we're driving clarity in the conversation and that we're providing the best type of audio to a person, regardless of where they are, and the system can work together.
Right. So Joel, one of the things that we've talked about a lot is the ability to get really high quality audio in every room. How does this new platform help us on that front?
Yeah, it all comes from scalability, right? So we wanted to make sure that this platform could truly scale across all types of spaces. In order to deliver that scalability, we chose to go on a network-first architecture, right? So everything in the NAX platform is all based on audio over IP. It comes from our technology based on doing a video and audio over IP with NVX. So every device connected over the network and being truly scalable means we go from one device up to 8 devices, but it's deployed in the same way. You simply just adjust the amount of mic speaker pods or microphones and speakers for your type of space. You're always logging into the same device, you're always managing the same device, you're setting it up in the same way, you're just simply adding the right amount of endpoints for that room. So that means we can truly scale. We can now go across a whole facility, across a whole different room, a whole bunch of different room sizes. The users get that same consistent experience. The deployment is that same consistent experience. And then even serviceability is consistent as well for the people who have to manage the spaces.
So Alex, you worked on the DM-NVX platform for a very long time and helped get that introduced. And now we're talking about audio. What's the importance here, and what's the relationship between the two?
Oh, there's a ton of commonalities.
Yeah.
I think the point that Joel just mentioned on the network aspect of it, right? When we drove NVX to the market, it was 100% focused on the scale, but then also the simplicity. Once that drops on the network, we're making sure that it's reliable, it's secure, every device is up and running all the time for the customers. And so that design intentionality we had in NVX, we really took it to NAX. And NAX is a platform that we've been building over the years. So as we've been adding technology and feature sets to the NAX ecosystem, one of the biggest intentions that we drove actually in 2019, I guess now, is where we put NAX embedded in NVX. Right, that was an ecosystem design intention where we said, okay, our video endpoints need to talk to the audio ecosystem. And so this extension with this new intelligent audio platform isn't anything new for Crestron. Right? Crestron's been doing this for years. The technology is the same technology that we've developed over those years. We're just driving more feature sets to it. We're driving it for the specific use case that the customers are asking us for these collaboration experiences. And then as those experiences grow, as we drive to more spaces, you can see the commonality between the AVIXA ecosystem, where we take audio, video, USB, and bring it together with the collaboration. It's really aligning the content and the collaboration aspect of what we do in our everyday lives.
Great. Joel, my favorite part, or I think a very interesting part of the booth, is the wall where you have a conference room and you show a Sennheiser microphone, the new NAX AP100, and some PoE speakers. Yep. Why do you think that's a solution that people should take a look at?
Yeah, it's a great example of some of the modular or scaling approaches we have in NAX, right? We're showing that Sennheiser speaker and the Sennheiser microphone and the speakers there, but we can scale beyond that, right? We're showing how it's wired in a simple way. You can add multiple microphones, you can add multiple speakers. The PoE speakers there scale as well, so we move up to 4 microphones, 16 speakers, becomes a pretty big space at that point, and really anything below that. Right. But that leads into that scalability story and moving all those products to the ceiling. So we have solutions for the ceiling, we have solutions for the table, really making sure we can match every aesthetic that our customers expect.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that, right? The other thing is the setup experience. The design intention of whether you want it in the ceiling or on the table is one thing, but the second thing is when those devices hit the network, the AP100, discovering them automatically, putting them into a view where you could just say, add all to my system. That intentionality allows people to scale, to deploy it, and know it's working. Also, learnings from the NVX platform, we made sure we gave you all the statuses of the devices in that ecosystem so that you know that when it's deployed, everything is working the way that you want it to. And if it's not, we're telling you and alerting you to it.
Right. Yeah, yep. Great, so fun new set of products. This is excellent. What's your guiding principle as we move to the next set of innovations and think about the next set of products that you're working on?
Sure. It all stays focused on the core fundamentals of, I'll say, deploy core peripheral, right? We've adopted this framework now to drive the intelligent spaces. So we continue to focus on driving the efficiency for installers to set up, for the technology managers to scale and manage it, making sure that every product that we're building is built for the era of AI, but also with the human-centric needs, so that when end users use it, it's just naturally flowing, and the systems that wrap around it just all work together. That's really the core fundamentals of what we're building in our products, and that's what you'll see from us in the years to come.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think as technologists, we want to make sure that we're enabling spaces to achieve that outcome or achieve that workflow. When we do that, the technology should disappear into the background because people focus on what matters, which is going into the meeting and meeting. It's going into the auditorium and teaching. If we do that, culture ends up thriving.
Yeah. Great. All right, well, thank you for joining. Come learn more about these new products from Crestron. You can come see us at the booth if you're here at ISE, or you can go and do your research on our website, crestron.com. Thank you.
In the world of live sports and entertainment, production demands to deliver live events are constantly evolving. Traditional on-premises setups often struggle to keep pace, facing challenges in scalability, flexibility, and efficiency. That's why with AWS, live cloud production is ready to meet your needs. no matter where the audience takes you. Unlike rigid physical setups that require substantial upfront investment and often end up over-provisioned, AWS allows you to scale up or down based on changing requirements. This flexibility means you only use what you need when you need it, avoiding over-provisioning or underutilizing resources. It's an adaptive approach to live production, aligning with the dynamic nature of live events. You'll also enjoy worldwide reach, using the extensive global infrastructure of AWS and the highest throughput and lowest latency cloud network. You can broadcast live content to audiences around the world without constraints. Whether it's a local event or a global tournament, AWS ensures that your content reaches viewers with minimal latency and high reliability. That way, you can expand your audience without compromising the quality of the viewing experience. AWS and AWS partners provide a suite of cloud-based services and solutions designed to enhance production quality and streamline workflows. These tools offer advanced video processing, vision and audio mixing, replay, data-driven graphics, signal processing, discovery, routing, real-time analytics, generative AI, and more, helping you improve both the technical and creative aspects of your production. And with remote production capabilities, creative teams can work from just about anywhere and keep broadcast operations agile and innovative, while lowering the carbon footprint and improving sustainability. It's a more flexible, secure, efficient, and sustainable way to put on a show. Live cloud production on AWS. Broadcast as usual, storytelling like never before.
Distance used to divide us. It meant bad connections, missed opportunities, lost ideas. But we see distance as an advantage. The key to unlocking innovation, enabling flexibility, and inspiring talent. We build devices for every workspace, from the home office to the conference room. Our technology understands nuances of communication and prioritizes what matters. With cutting-edge AI and NVIDIA accelerated computing, we make it feel like everyone is at the table and in focus, no matter where they are. We capture sound and ensure it's always clear, and make it easy to share and illustrate ideas. Our devices work with your platform of choice, connecting teams across the globe securely. By making it easy to set up, manage, and optimize workspaces, we help IT and facilities teams to accelerate workplace transformation. And with a focus on circular design principles and energy efficiency, we even help to make the office more sustainable. With Cisco devices, distance isn't an obstacle. It's your superpower.
As people return to the workplace in record numbers, they expect a seamless experience that is worth the commute. As technology evolves, we'll be there, leading the way, inspiring teams to work together, empowering businesses to grow beyond limits, connecting people, spaces, and technology. This is what we're known for. It's our forte. Let's transform the modern workplace together.
With AI-driven voice translation, AI Media makes seamless global communication a reality. Introducing Lexi Voice. In a world that's more connected than ever, language barriers still limit communication. Lexi Voice eliminates these barriers, delivering real-time translations across the globe.
Here's the shot.
Seamlessly connecting viewers and attendees, Lexi Voice ensures your content speaks their language, whether on-site or at home. Over 70% of the world's population speaks more than one language, yet 80% of online content is still inaccessible to non-native speakers. Lexi Voice empowers you to expand your market reach, grow your audience, and increase revenue. Ready to connect with the world? Visit AI Media's website and experience Lexi Voice today.
Video walls have become the focal point in a variety of Pro AV applications, from corporate campuses to command and control centers. As they grow in size and importance, video walls take on a bigger role. That's where Mira DVW comes in. It delivers seamless, perfectly synchronized video walls with high-performance decoding and modern IP networking. With simple configuration, HEVC 444 support, and built-in security, it's designed for clarity, scale, and confidence. From a single appliance to large-scale deployments, performance grows as your wall grows. Mira DVW, a smarter way to build and scale video walls.
Meet the Move 4K, precise PTZ control with true 4K 60 clarity. Onboard SDI, HDMI, USB, IP, and Power over Ethernet Plus, a built-in tally light and native NDI HX3, 12, 20, or 30x zoom. Perfect for the field, stadium, or stage. Auto tracking with presenter lock keeps the speaker in frame. Local or remote control with Hive Studio, Web UI, joysticks, or third-party platforms. Voice tracking helps remote meeting participants feel like they're in the room. The Move 4K. Powerful, flexible, and engineered for the future.
Flawless live event production isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Ross Video provides scalable, reliable AV solutions built to meet even the most demanding live production environments. Whether you're running a company-wide meeting in an auditorium or switching between hybrid flex spaces, Ross gives you full control. Seamless video switching, automation, graphics, and more, all in one ecosystem. Our solutions adapt to your space and your people, whether your team is highly technical or just getting started. Automate your cues and fire entire sequences with a single button. So when it's time to go live, everything just works. Backed by round-the-clock support and trusted by the world's most respected organizations, Ross delivers peace of mind when it matters most. From quarterly earnings calls to global product launches, Ross gives you the solutions to deliver the moment.
team deserves extraordinary audio in their meetings, but sometimes obstacles get in the way. That's why we created the IntelliMix Bar Pro, with superior sound that captures every voice with unmatched clarity, and a system ready to scale as your team grows, capturing every word for precise AI transcription. Designed for IT, secure, cloud managed, simple. The bar that removes barriers.
Most of us expect life to run smoothly. But we don't stop to think about what it takes to make that happen. Most of us don't have to. We forget about the people up and moving before our alarms go off. The people behind the innovation and logistics, the creativity and the know-how. The people who connect rural communities with essential services, who work tirelessly to build, connect, power, and protect